It's Tuesday, February the 9th, 2016, and here are the stories that we're covering this week. A GPS error caused 12 hours of problems for a number of companies. All of your iPhones belong to us. Hey, if you've had your iPhone 6 serviced by a third party, you might break it if you try to update. A social engineering hack on the U.S.'s Department of Justice and Department of Homeland Security is being downplayed. What? There's a surprise. Watch where you fly your drone. Check this out. A man was being charged for crashing into the Empire State Building after a police officer told him it was okay to fly there. Didn't tell him that it was okay to crash into the building. That's the key point here. Maybe. We'll find out more. And also, those new USB-C cables, they could potentially fry your device. So stick around. I'm going to tell you what you need to watch out for when choosing your cable. These stories and more coming up. Don't go anywhere. You've got mad skills. Now, hone them. Learn new skills or improve your existing ones with online video tutorials and training from lynda.com through our special link at cat5.tv/lynda. Learn software, technology, creative, and business skills you can use today to help you achieve your professional goals. Join today and start learning. We'll give you this chance to try it absolutely free with unlimited access to all of the courses. Sign up now for free, cat5.tv/lynda. I'm Robbie Ferguson, and here are the top stories from the Category 5.tv newsroom this week. Several companies were hit by hours of system warnings after 15 GPS satellites broadcast the wrong time, according to time monitoring company Kronos. The company observed problems last week after noticing some GPS time signals were 13 microseconds out. Such a discrepancy is considered severe, and several Kronos Telecom's clients faced 12 hours of system errors. Previously, the GPS errors had been blamed for disturbances with BBC radio broadcasts. According to the U.S. Air Force, aka USAF, which manages the GPS satellite network, problems began when a satellite named SVN-23 was decommissioned. A USAF spokeswoman, it's not supposed to be a tongue twister, but for some reason it feels like one. A USAF spokeswoman confirmed that the error had been pushed out from the ground. Kronos Chief Executive Professor Charles Curry said telecommunication companies relied on the accuracy of these time measurements to control the flow of data through their networks. The bits and bytes of telephone calls, for example, they might be synchronized based on the time that's reported by GPS satellite signals. When the 13 microsecond error had been detected, it resulted in thousands of system warnings being activated at some companies. The USAF says that while the software issue is still resident on the ground systems, 2nd Space Operations Squadron has implemented procedures to ensure the issue does not recur. The latest software update for the iPhone 6 handset is rendering the devices useless if it detects that repairs were carried out by someone other than Apple. The problem is known as Error 53, and it's appeared in Apple products before. The Guardian reports that users' phones were disabled after the Touch ID home button was repaired by a non-Apple engineer. Apple has confirmed that this error message is a security measure taken to prevent fraudulent transactions. Apple advises that if a customer encounters Error 53, they are encouraged to contact Apple support. U.S. authorities have acknowledged a data breach affecting the Department of Justice and Department of Homeland Security, but downplayed it severely. A hacker, or perhaps a hacking group, published via Twitter that they said what they said were about 9,000 records of Homeland Security employees. According to technology news site Motherboard, the hacker has said that he will soon share the personal information of 20,000 Department of Justice employees, including staff at the FBI. The news site said it had verified small portions of the breach, but also noted that some of it appeared to be either incorrect or perhaps outdated. In a statement, Homeland Security told journalists, and this is a quote, "We take these reports very seriously. However, there is no indication at this time that there is any breach of sensitive or personally identifiable information." Back it up a little bit there, Homeland Security. What about the 9,000 names and numbers? The Department of Justice also downplayed the breach's significance. The hacker is understood to have used simple human engineering to bypass one stage of the authority's security systems. Could boil down to training. Motherboard quoted the hacker, who explained, "So I called up, told them I was new, and I didn't understand how to get past the portal. They asked if I had a token code. I said no. They said, that's fine, just use ours." A man charged with crashing a drone into the Empire State Building claims that a policeman had told him it was fine to fly there. Police say a drone hit the New York skyscraper's 40th floor and then fell onto a ledge 5 levels lower. Sean Riddle was charged with reckless endangerment and illegal navigation of an aircraft in and over the city. The man is also he blames a year-old news article for its misleading information. He said in a tweet, "All I wanted to do was shoot 5 seconds of video to promote a non-profit. I asked a cop 20 minutes before I did it. He said it was fine. Aside from asking a cop, I went to this website, where to fly a drone in New York City legally. However, U.S. drone owners are being urged to consult the Know Before You Fly website, backed by drone makers, as well as the Federal Aviation Administration, which shows the Empire State Building and much of the rest of Manhattan has been designated as a restricted zone because of its heliports and helipads." Bad on who, right? Okay, when you're using Google, there's a tool under search options that allows you to change to articles that have been posted in the past hour, 24 hours, week. You can actually set the time. So if you're doing a search like that where it's obviously, the guy knows that he might be breaking the law, let's use that tool to make sure that we're looking at something that's a little more current than a year old. But then again, even if it was legal, I don't think it's okay to crash it into the building. Maybe somebody who is not a very good pilot shouldn't be flying in a populated area, my opinion. The gadget world is slowly adopting a new power cord standard. It's called USB Type-C. They're small, multi-purpose, universal, reversible, and they might fry your hardware. The advantage of the new standard is that USB-C isn't owned by any one company, and that means anyone can manufacture those cables for cheap. The disadvantage, because of that, well, they might wreak havoc with your devices. Cheap power cords are nothing new. You can go onto Amazon or even walk into a dollar store and buy micro USB standard cables for smartphones, for example. But the new USB-C cords are capable of supplying much more power to your devices than standard micro USB, for example, 5 volts versus a lot more. If you charge your smartphone by plugging your USB-C cord into your laptop, a faulty cord could actually drain your device far more quickly, draw a lot more power from that laptop than it was designed to supply, and possibly destroy it and your smartphone connected to it pretty much instantly. There's no turning back. The cords are supposed to recognize what kind of device they're sucking power from. For example, if a USB-C cord is plugged into a wall socket, it's going to crank up the juice, versus if you plug it into your laptop, it's going to tone it down a bit. That's not what happened to Google engineer Benson Leung. While testing a 3M USB-C cord, his $1,500 laptop turned into a very expensive piece of toast. The cord had been wired incorrectly. Mr. Leung has since taken it upon himself to take the manufacturers to task, reviewing several of the cords with the hopes of preventing this from happening to someone else. Based on his research, buying more expensive cables is generally a good idea, but an expensive cord doesn't necessarily mean that your gadgets are going to be safe, and blindly simply spending extra money as a way of ensuring your device's safety, that's pretty silly. That's no guarantee that your device isn't going to be destroyed. The good news, though, is that the USBC Standards setting group, they're called the USB Implementers Forum. They're issuing a seal of approval for safe USB-C devices, cords especially. Since those logos don't show up anywhere on Amazon's website, though, your safest bet might be to actually walk into a brick-and-mortar store where you can physically see the logo on the box. Otherwise, you could ask in the product description or the product question section on your favorite purchasing site, and then make sure that the logo is present when the device actually arrives. Big thanks this week to Roy W. Nash and our community of viewers for submitting stories to us. If you found a news story that you'd like us to mention, make sure you email it to newsroom@category5.tv. For all of your tech news with a slight Linux bias, visit the category5.tv newsroom. It's newsroom.category5.tv. For the category5.tv newsroom, I'm Robbie Ferguson.